Hello everyone, this is part 15 of What If Naruto Was Like Gaara, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist. To see more, comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Last time, Kakashi and Hinata jumped out the window and took off towards the giant snake in hopes of keeping it away from Naruto. This is bad with Naruto still in critical condition, thought Kakashi as he and Hinata ran to meet the beast. Naruto, please survive, thought Hinata, casting a worried gaze towards the hospital before she and Kakashi made their way to the battle. Tsunade cursed as she once again failed to extract the poison from Naruto's body that was now clinging to live by a thread. Damn it, if his QB powers can't heal him, what can we do? Thought Tsunade. Sakura watched as her sensei tried every trick she knew to remove the poison only to fail. Tsunade sensei, you should rest, your chakra is nearly gone, said Sakura. I'll rest when he's slay, huffed Tsunade as she took in gulps of air. But why? He's a demon now, he deserves to rest, said Sakura in a spiteful tone. Tsunade sighed as she felt the last of her strength leave her, then she fell unconscious. The last thing she heard was Sakura screeching, Tsunade sensei. Before all went black, Kakashi and Hinata held the ground. They both stood atop the same roof just a few yards from the snake. They both began to perform the same set of hand signs. Lightning style, thunder dragon jutsu. Suddenly a large yellow dragon erupted from the skies. Electricity crackled as it flew through the air, then hit the snake with such force that it caused it to fly several miles back away from the gates. The ninja of the village cheered the panting Hinata and Kakashi. I hope it worked, said Hinata. I doubt it did, little more than ticked it off. Only Naruto could perform that technique with the power to really cause any damage, said Kakashi. Naruto screamed out in pain as he lay on the water-covered stone floor. The QB only grunted as pain shot through their boss. Naruto, we have to, grunted the QB. No, I won't do it, said Naruto. I'll still exist in your mind. I'll be like a second personality, said the QB. I said no, said Naruto, getting to his feet. Naruto, if we don't do it, we'll both said QB. No, you're my friend, I won't lose you, said Naruto. Then as my friend do it, shouted the QB. I can't, said Naruto as tears flowed from his eyes. The QB grinned. Then I will make you, he said. Naruto soon found himself floating within a dream. The QB sighed as the pain began to leave him, as did all feeling altogether. Sakura smirked as she watched the monster begin to slowly and painfully draw his last few breaths. She'd never cared for Naruto, but since she started to help Tsunade, she accidentally stumbled onto some very old records that told what Naruto truly was. Her father had been killed during the time the QB had attacked the village. She hated the beast with a passion, and now she could finally have her vengeance. If someone were to look at Sakura's face now, they would see a look of absolute fear as she was grabbed and raised off the ground by her tea. The palm that had her covered a great portion of her tea. The thing that really terrified her was the fact that the hand had claws. The grip suddenly tightened, causing her to wriggle to try and get some air. She looked at Naruto's face to see he had a smirk. A smirk that would have caused milk to spoil. His still closed eyes suddenly flashed open to reveal two dark red irises with vertical sted pupils. Sakura's attempts to escape his grip started to lessen as the air left her lungs. Naruto let out a low growl before he gave one last squeeze. Her end snapped instantly. He then threw her limp body through the window to his right, causing it to shatter. There was a loud scream as someone watched Sakura's limp body hit the ground, while Naruto ran towards the fight unnoticed. Kakashi breathed heavily as he carried an unconscious Hinata on his back. The snake had sent an army of human-sized snakes to attack the village. He weaved and dodged the snake's various attacks and bites as he weaved through the streets of Konoha. This isn't good, the village is overrun with these things, he thought as he leaped into the air to keep Hinata from being bitten. He landed on a rooftop, his breath came in sharp and heavy, sweat soaked his cloths. My chakra's nearly spent, he thought as he looked towards the hospital. He suddenly felt his strength return as Naruto came darting towards him, but something seemed different about him. Naruto raced on the rooftops of the village that was nothing more than a blur of colors and sounds. He looked ahead to his target, the giant snake. A small smirk appeared across his lips. He came to a halt on top of a building that looked like it had been struck by lightning. The snake hissed upon seeing him. You should be said Hachibi. Hachibi, you never learn, do you? Said Naruto. The snake suddenly reared up. So that's how you still live, he hissed. Naruto smirked. Yes, the Kyuubi and I are one, said Naruto. His voice was a deep growl. It matters not, because in the end I will still kill you, hissed Hachibi. Naruto smirked. Let's begin. Soon it awoke to the feeling of hot summer air blow gently over her body, making her wish that sleep would take her again. She then bolted straight up. The smell of blood filled her nostrils. She turned to the window to see it had been said through. She hesitantly looked out the window, her eyes widened with shock and sorrow as she saw the remains of her once prized student. Tears rolled down her face. She then looked to the battle that was about to take place, hoping that Naruto would kill the snake, but then Naruto's body started to glow bright red as he emitted an enormous amount of chakra. His body was soon covered in blood-red fur. His ears elongated into those of a fox, red fur tipped with black. 9 tails shot from the base of his spine. His body started to grow. The red chakra scorched the rooftop. His whisker marks bled as real whiskers shot from their place. His nose became black as his face stretched into a snout. His teeth were now razor sharp. The Kyuubi stood at a height of 10 feet. Hachibi laughed. Oh, I'm so scared this little kid might actually scratch me, said Hachibi. This caused the Kyuubi to laugh. His demonic aura suddenly exploded, causing the roof of the building he was standing on to shatter. The debris that flew through the air seemed to float there. Then they all shot towards the snake, causing him to fly backwards. The Kyuubi then used his chakra to jet towards the fallen snake. He opened his mouth and a green jet of fox fire shot out. The snake twitched violently in pain, leveling well over half the forest. The Kyuubi smirked as he started to glow bright red. Then he opened his mighty jaws again. This time, a beam of red chakra exited his gaping jaws, hitting the snake in the middle of his body. The snake was now cut in half. The Kyuubi smirked with satisfaction until he saw millions of smaller snakes about his size exit the corpse. The Kyuubi started to glow bright red again as the chakra consumed his body into a bright red ball. Then jets of red chakra shot from the ball, killing every snake that was leaving the giant S1. Once he'd finished, the air was filled with black smoke from the burning corpses of every snake that had entered the village. The Kyuubi was lying on the ground completely exhausted. His chakra was completely drained. His body slowly reverted back to his human form. He looked to the entrance to the village to see an army of ninja coming towards the gates. Damn it, he thought as he retained his fox form. The Kyuubi ran silently through the trees before finding the army. He looked them over to see they were all wearing sound headbands. Then at the lead, he saw not Sasuke Uchiha but Orochimaru. Last time. The Kyuubi was lying on the ground completely exhausted. His chakra was completely drained. His body slowly reverted back to his human form. He looked to the entrance to the village to see an army of ninja coming towards the gates. Damn it, he thought as he retained his fox form. The Kyuubi ran silently through the trees before finding the army. He looked them over to see they were all wearing sound headbands. Then at the lead, he saw not Sasuke Uchiha but Orochimaru. The Kyuubi stared in disbelief. He'd remembered Jiraiya saying that Orochimaru might still be alive, but he thought the old man and one too many. But now he was thinking that he needed to apologize to him once this was all over, if he made it back alive, that is. His 9 tails twitched ever so slightly as he sat among the thick leaves and branches of the tree he was in. His razor-like teeth were bared as he thought of the best way to effectively kill Orochimaru, without having to take on an entire army. Kakashi laid Hinata gently onto the hospital bed to allow her to recover from her chakra exhaustion. He then walked over to a chair that overlooked the bed and sat in it. Within seconds the copycat ninja was fast asleep. Soon had met with the village council to deal with Naruto's little spat. Soon at any other time we'd agree with you wholeheartedly, but we need the boy, said Muska. Then let's send him on a mission, said Tsunade. This caused an old woman sitting beside Muska to laugh. The Kyuubi's container has a remarkable healing rate. There is no such thing as a mission for him, said the woman. Well, I for one think that Sakura got what she deserved, said Hiashi. Hiashi, we all know your relationship with Naruto, and it would be wise for you to stay silent, said Tsunade, raising her fist threateningly. Hiashi glared at her, but said nothing more. Now then, how about this? We let the boy destroy the Sound Village, then we execute him, said a woman with bright pink hair. Mrs. Haruno, be fair, said Hiashi. Fair? Fair? Was it fair to my daughter when that demon ked her? Was it fair that she had to rest before she could marry? What about Hinata Hiashi? How long before the demon sets his sights on her? Asked Mrs. Haruno. Hiashi's eyes showed a glowing rage. Naruto Uzumaki would never harm a hair on my daughter's head, because she is the only person in this village he loves, said Hiashi. How can you be sure? The old Naruto might not have done such a thing, but his mind has been twisted with the power from the Kyuubi. Who's to say he won't go after Hinata next? Asked Tsunade. Hiashi remained silent. He didn't have an answer for this. Tsunade smirked at her triumph. Naruto breathed heavily as he sat above the now camping army. His instincts were telling him to attack while the guard was down, but his body told him to rest. I've got to kill them before they get to the village, he thought. As he clenched his fists, he changed back not too long after finding the hiding spot he was in. Sweat sped from the end of his nose and the bottom of his chin onto the tree bark as he attempted to summon his demonic chakra to transform once again. Only to find he couldn't. He was completely and utterly exhausted. Then an image flashed through his mind. One that he hadn't even thought of for over 4 years. It was the image of Hinata lying apparently on the ground when he battled Shakaku. This image gave him the strength he needed to transform into the Kyuubi once again. His chakra exploded around him, causing the branch he was sitting on to shatter. He landed gracefully in the middle of the camp, his demonic tail swished with excitement. Every ninja in the camp froze instantly. They'd heard tell of a demon that was living in the forest, and now they could see it was true. Orochimaru sat in his tent poring over maps of the village, preparing for the invasion that was soon to come, when he heard a loud crash. A small smile split his face as he walked out of his tent, to see a bear-sized Kyuubi. The Kyuubi let out a low menacing growl as Orochimaru approached him. The image of Hinata was now burned within his very soul, and he wasn't going to let it happen again. Well, Naruto, you've returned, said Orochimaru as calmly as if he were talking about the weather. The Kyuubi only glared at him. Oh, what's the matter? Don't have anything to say? Asked Orochimaru with a hurt look on his face. The Kyuubi snarled, then ran at the snake Sannin, who merely stepped to the side to avoid his attack. The Kyuubi roared and emitted a burst of blinding red chakra that caused Orochimaru to shield his eyes. The Kyuubi then ran towards the snake Sannin at an invisible speed. He raised his chakra-covered claws and slashed through Orochimaru. The Kyuubi then stopped and turned to see Orochimaru lying on the ground in two halves. But the Kyuubi sniffed the air, then jumped, as a giant brown snake shot from beneath him. Its mouth was open wide, ready to swallow him. The Kyuubi opened its mouth and shot a beam of red chakra straight down its teeth, obliterating it within seconds. The Kyuubi landed on the branch of a tree as Orochimaru shot out from the hole left by the now snake. Impressive, Naruto, he said as he looked at the Kyuubi with mild fascination. The Kyuubi snarled as he looked into the snake Sannin's eyes to see not the usual yellow irises with vertical stead pupils, but red irises with 3 black tomo encircling a black circular pupil. The Sharingan, thought Naruto. Ah, so you've noticed what I had to do to stay alive, said Orochimaru casually. The Kyuubi growled even louder, then roared, causing a shockwave to shoot through the air, hitting Orochimaru, causing him to fly through several trees. The Kyuubi took off after him, catching up before he'd even come close to being able to stop, then with a flick of his tail sent him flying towards another set of trees. Orochimaru finally stopped. His body was battered and broken. His limbs stuck from his body at odd angles. The Kyuubi opened its mouth and with the last of his chakra started to form a ball inside his teeth. Hinata awoke to see a white ceiling above her. She noticed she was lying in a very comfortable bed. She could hear someone breathing beside her. She saw Kakashi sitting in a chair beside her bed, sleeping soundly. She felt content knowing that any moment now Naruto would come bursting through her door. She suddenly sat up as she felt a huge burst of chakra that felt like it shouldn't even belong in this world, with the malice and hate that it seemed to contain. Naruto, she thought as she looked out a window to her right, only to get a view of the Hokage's mountain, not of the forest. Please be all right, she thought. Then it's agreed upon Naruto's return to this village he will be sentenced back into exile, said Muska. Everyone except Hiashi nodded in agreement. The orb with the QB's T causing his mouth to glow green, yellow, red, and blue, then a bright beam of energy shot from his mouth. Hitting the immobile Orochimaru, there was a flash of bright light as the beam of chakra destroyed not only Orochimaru, but the army of sound ninja that was behind him. The QB's breath became labored and heavy as his body collapsed to the ground. Dust flew from the dry earth, covering his blood-red body, that had begun to change back into his human form. Naruto lay on the ground breathing in a mixture of dirt and air as his face lay flat on the earth. It's over, he breathed. It's finally over, he said again. Says who? Came a voice ahead of him. Naruto struggled to raise his head only to receive a boot to the face that sent him flying into a tree, causing it to snap from the impact. Naruto's vision became blurred as he saw a snow-white hand make contact with his face. He was knocked back onto the ground. It's impossible, how did you survive that blast? Said Naruto in a shaky voice. This caused Orochimaru to laugh. My dear boy, the Sharingan, of course. I saw your attacks coming from a mile away. I only allowed you to hit me hard enough to make it look like you were winning, while I was really wearing you down to the point you're in now, said Orochimaru. Naruto, using what little strength he had left, rose unsteadily to his feet. His knees felt as if they were going to buckle beneath him. I'm very surprised that you managed to transform a second time, after you used up so much of your chakra defeating Hachibi, said Orochimaru. Naruto started to snicker. When you've got someone who's worth dying for, you find all kinds of hidden power, said Naruto as he started to glow bright red. Well, looks like you've still got some fight left in you after all, said Orochimaru as Naruto's wounds began to heal. Hinata walked over to her bag that Kakashi had brought for her moments after he'd woke up and pulled out a picture of her team. As she grabbed it, she squeezed the frame to hard, causing it to crack. The broken glass pricked her finger, causing a single drop of blood to fall on Naruto's heart. No, she thought. Please don't be an omen, she thought again as she stared at the blood-stained photo. Naruto, now fully healed, took a fighting stance as he drew a kunai from his pouch. Orochimaru smiled as Naruto ran towards him. Naruto's world seemed to appear as if in slow motion as Orochimaru opened his mouth. A large sword shot from his T, hitting him squarely in the chest. His body suddenly felt numb. He looked down to see blood had begun to ooze from the wound, and then the sword was pulled painfully from his chest, causing the blood to flow from his body like water from a broken dam. Naruto didn't even feel his body hit the ground. That had now become soaked in his blood. That thing that went through his mind before he lost all sense was, Hinata, I'm sorry. Sorry for another short chapter. I was originally going to end it here, but then I thought this would make a good cliffhanger. Ain't I a stinker? X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.